Hey everybody, RoofKorean1776 here. I just want to say hello, and today I wanted to go over training with you guys today. I want to talk about how important it is and what to expect if you do training. Now, I'm not talking about courses that some states mandate for new gun owners. I still think it's always a good idea for any new firearms owner to go through a safety course. They learn how to properly operate the firearm and be safe with it. Well, it's one thing to know how to operate the tool. It's another to know how to effectively use it to defend yourself and your loved ones. That's what it comes down to. Some people out there believe that equipment, gear, and marksmanship is good enough. I'm going to tell you right now that marksmanship is extremely important, but there's more to it than just that. And gear, it's useless, or it can hinder you in the worst cases without proper training. Training is for everyone. Although some courses require you to take basic courses before you enroll, especially for some of those really advanced classes, which is a really good idea. That the worst time to learn something is in the middle of a fight, and nothing could be truer than that. There are a lot of great resources out there on the internet, especially on YouTube, and I use them myself. But it doesn't replace a training environment with mentors and instructors. So real quick, I'm going to go over 4 levels of learning. These are something I had to know when I became an FAA flight instructor. Okay, so there's 4 things, main things. There's something called rote, understanding, application, and correlation. So rote learning is basically remembering everything but not totally understanding what you're learning. Okay? Understanding is comprehension, so you remember what you've learned, but you're starting to understand what's going on there. Okay, application. Application is understanding and applying. So you're putting all those together and you're starting to use them in actual exercises. And then number 4, you got correlation. It's basically putting it all together. And now, why am I covering this with you? This is because I want to stress to you how important it is to take a class to learn all these things. You're not going to get that on a YouTube class or somebody else's commentary on a forum. That's how you get it, from somebody actually teaching you this stuff. One other thing I want to talk about learning is something called primacy. Primacy often creates a really strong, almost unshakable impression. And for the instructor, it makes it really hard for them, because what this means is when they teach you something, they need to teach it to you right the first time. If they teach you something wrong, they say, oh wait, I made a mistake, it really was supposed to go this way. It doesn't work all that great that way. So primacy is really important. Guys like Travis Haley, he talks about it all the time. So because of primacy, it will set the foundation on how you're going to do things instinctively from then on. So after talking about the 4 levels of learning and primacy, I want to cover something called recency or currency. Currency is really important because if you don't practice, you're going to lose the skills that you learned in class or from what you read. So it's really important to practice in a safe environment for yourself and your loved ones and your neighbors. Don't forget about them. So if you do decide to take a class, here's a few tips if you do. Leave your ego at home and walk in the class with an open mind. Be prepared in mind, spirit, and equipment. Most classes will have a minimum equipment list. Go over it, make sure you have everything you need. Make a checklist if you have to, and make sure you have everything you need and be prepared for class. Bring some extra stuff. Make sure that your equipment is cleaned and primed for the course. Use quality and dependable ammo. Nothing's worse than buying cheap ammo and ruining your session. Don't be that guy. I've had a case like that one time, and I got something out of training, but it was a complete disaster. Pay attention. Don't be afraid to ask questions. During class, listen to your instructor. It's not the time to argue about something you may have heard from a friend, from the internet, or from your past experiences that you've had, especially during live fire. That's not the time for it. That's the wrong time to argue. So tell the instructors about any physical disabilities you may have that could hinder you from certain movements or exercises. It's not a competition, so worry about your own performance and nobody else's. You're gonna make mistakes. Get over it and keep moving on. Now, if the instructor yells at you, and if it seems like they're yelling at you, they probably are. Don't take it personally. It's a really loud environment out there, so they want to make sure that you can hear them. They're also used to talking loud. Many instructors are really enthusiastic. What they want to do is they want to transfer their knowledge to you, and they get excited about that, and it's a good thing. Now, sometimes an instructor will watch you, and they will push you to your limits because they can see your potential and take you to a higher level. Just go with it and go with it safely. So now I'm going to talk about finding a school. Do your due diligence and find a reputable school. There's a lot of great schools out there. In the East Coast, it can be challenging. Many times people will travel across several states to go to a specific school. Having said all this, some schools have instructors. Some schools out there have instructors with real-world experience, whether it's contracting, police, military, things like that. And those are the ones I gravitate towards. Those instructors will demonstrate and watch you and teach you, and they will transfer the knowledge and experience they have had to you. So having said all this, if you do take a course, there's a lot to be had from it. One, you're going to get some great training. Two, you're going to be proficient with your gear and your firearms. Three, you're going to meet a lot of great people out there. I've met several great people. But I want you to remember when you're out there that safety is paramount. It's the most important thing you can have out there. So these days, the average cost for a class is about $300 for a one-day session. Some schools even offer deep discounts to train with them again. And that's awesome as hell. I plan on doing this myself. Maybe I want to try a new rifle, a new gear configuration, whatever it might be. Or just for proficiency. It's a great way to see if your choice of equipment will work for you, and you check its dependability and get a refresher on everything. Training can be expensive and time consuming. Think of it as an investment for yourself and your loved ones. So everybody, that covers everything for this session. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And always remember to be good to one another when you can. Stay out of trouble, but if trouble finds you, make sure you have the unfair advantage with planning, gear, and training. Take care, and I'll see you guys later.